Hi, I'm Angified. I started Angified Presents.
We share the love of music.
It has been medicine and therapy. Nothing else worked.
It has saved many of us. With mental health, we need to open our eyes.
Hurt people hurt people.
We ask that you listen, comprehend, and relate with your ears.
Form that heart of unity and one.
We share on this stage.
Statistics, feelings.
And ourselves.
We stand with the belief to be you, to be heard, and to be original.
We all may be different, with opinions and beliefs.
At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters.
We are family.
We ask that you join us in a magical journey with artists from around the world. Open your minds, let in the love,
and listen with your hearts.
We all want a better tomorrow. Be one.
Communicate and look out for one another. And then, and only then, will you find the world.
We will find peace in all the world.
You'll find the world. And you will find in this shining world heroes among us and every boy and girl. Many have been broken, red hearts turn black. Love will melt the ice and turn it back, and you will find the world. You will find the world. You will find
times have changed. On a PC or a Mac and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and sys that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much rap. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking IT. We're talking IT. Every Thursday night on Angified.
Oh, our theme song got you bopping, huh? Ange?
Hello.
We're gonna put you down there.
I'm the end sometimes.
No.
I'm gonna be the talking part of the IT tonight.
Sounds fair.
Yes, I've come to invade.
Always welcome.
Yay!
It's a takeover Ange style.
No, it's a sometimes.
It's funny when I look at the AI in capital letters, it looks like it's a talkover.
Well, okay.
And sometimes Ange.
And sometimes Ange.
Just like
It was a legend until tonight.
It was. Well, not if you actually subscribe to our channel and check out the previous Talkin Shhh ITs, because there were some ITs, and Glenn can verify that I took over, and we had a whole jam session.
Absolutely.
That's right.
I recall more than once.
Very soon, just so you know.
Glenn was hiding in the woods.
Yes.
I was. And I mean, I don't hide in the woods that often, but when I do, I go for a couple of days, and then when I come back, I am refreshed. So that's, it's a recharge.
Heck yeah. Well, we're gonna recharge our brains tonight on some things.
Yeah, let's take a look, see what we got lined up. The
In the cave.
IT cave. Welcome, Ange, to the IT cave.
Miss Crystal.
Yes, I had to start here because last week Glenn saw me get riled up over a couple of videos and like policy changes, laws that are popping up out of nowheres.
Yes.
And I'm not even a TikTok user, and this one pissed me off.
There you go.
Well, and we have made content for TikTok before.
Well,
I've made content on TikTok before. I haven't used it in quite some time. But
if you've ever used it,
yeah.
Pay attention to what she says here, because it's not just retroactively for content you made going forward. It's for all content you've ever made. It's a major move for a company to do something like this, and I think she's as pissed off as I am about it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're taking the approach that if the content exists, then, it's theirs if you don't specifically opt out or find some way to get it out of the system.
Right. Yeah, there's been a
Listen
lot
to
of
what
changes.
she says. So we're going to get you fired up with that. And I've been talking about 3D printers, Glenn. It's been something I want to go down, and this dude makes a whole bunch of music instruments with this 3D printer. It is so awesome.
That violin is like, looking at it, I mean, other than it being very orange, Okay. It looks like it was like molded with like Play-Doh or clay.
Exactly.
It
And then
doesn't
baked in the
look like
kiln.
it's like plastic.
And
Right?
actually,
Isn't
an
that
electric violin is something I'd be interested in sometime soon too. I'm thinking about that as my next instrument
man?
of exploration.
Oh, that would be so cool. You going from the bass that's almost as big as me to a freaking violin.
Not the world's smallest violin. I can already play that. I play that very well.
But the size of the violin might be just like the size that I would actually hold for a normal bass, my size.
I've actually taken my bass and held it like a violin before, because like sometimes you want to look down the neck and see if it's straight. So like when you hold it up like that, it does, like, you know. And he's like, oh, if you had a bow, you'd be playing it. It's heavy though. A 5-string bass.
Yes.
With Ange, that's a
Yes.
cello. That's a cello for Ange.
C-H-E-L-L-O.
And then our next one is for our guest here. This is where like we get to pick your brain on something you get to talk about like every night in the back room: lyricism and lyric writing, storytelling. 12 tone. I like this channel because it's like a artistic clip art approach to explanation, but it always explain things nice and clear. When it comes to lyric writing, I wanted you to double check the homework.
It's gonna be fun. I know we had a little homework check last night, I think, was it? Or was it before?
There's always a quiz.
I forgot to study, man.
Oh, me too. Me too.
We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Well, after we learn how to write words, I really wanted to talk about this when it comes to microphones and how they work, and whether like the singer is singing right up on the mic or pulling back. This is a tool and a technique like every singer should understand, the proximity effect. Otherwise, you're not getting the kind of vocal dynamics that you could get.
Correct.
Yeah. And even with a lot of the mics that we use, the one that I'm talking through right now is the similar one that we use on stage for people who are singing. And singing directly into the mic is great. Being right up on the mic is very helpful. Backing away when you're going to scream or push a lot of air is very helpful.
Yes.
But, you know, there's a lot of things you can do to mess it up. I've seen people who are just talking, you know, at a banquet or whatever. Like they're just somebody who just was handed a mic to say something. And sometimes they hold it like at their waist and they just keep talking in very low voice, like blah, 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 blah. Nobody's going to hear that. Same thing. You don't want to talk right into it where you're breathing down the thing either, because then all the percussive sounds you make are going to be ridiculous.
And I hate to use the mic after somebody else that has like been all up on that mic. Just
No,
saying.
every singer should have their own.
At least bring your own like cone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what I like to picture as far as a good way to place it is imagine yourself blowing a bubble with bubble gum. And if you had the microphone like right at the bottom of that circle, because the microphone is kind of listening to the air right out in front of your mouth, but you're not blowing straight into the mic. So you're not sending air, shotgunning in there.
And that's if you don't have your own.
You're just trying to talk naturally across it, and it's getting the best sound from you in that case. But again, backing away is a different technique for when you're trying to do different things. And here we're talking also about the high frequencies versus the low frequencies. So that's going to be interesting as well.
Well, and it gets even trickier if you're talking the hand holders. The ones
because then you're cupping the air in there.
Yeah, you better do that with the right mic, otherwise half your vocals aren't going to work.
The funny thing is when you put emotion into it and you're really feeling it, it's almost like, and I don't know for me, but it's almost like you just automatically know where that mic needs to be. You're feeling where like I'm going to be a little bit louder, so I have to pull it out, you know?
Well, and like you want good monitoring so you can notice the effect.
Yes. And you're actually getting 3 different points of views here, from a hand holder to someone that sets up for sound to someone that works with sound. So, I mean, yeah.
I like the up above approach from microphone as well for a vocalist, because that also kind of enforces, number one, to be standing up and in an appropriate space, but also that gets the extra projection. And instead of them kind of hunching into the mic to do something powerful, they're going up into something powerful.
Yeah, it encourages good posture, sound, open vocal cords.
It's just not always, convenient on stage, like they don't always want a mic hanging over their head when they're trying to, address a crowd. So I get that. But if it was in a studio, that's a whole different thing. When like, if they're in a vocal booth, I want that set up optimally for them to get the best vocal performance out of them, as well as the best recording, techniques that we can use to get the best recording of it.
Yeah,
Something else we should talk about in the future is the self-monitoring that the band has to wear.
I've got a whole monitoring night.
I'm telling you, even our headsets, how long we should actually be wearing them.
Yeah. Well, there's different monitoring options nowadays than there used to be. So you really have a lot of choices. It's about how
We'll
much
go
you
down
wanna
a rabbit hole
spend.
one night on that.
Yeah,
That'll be another
monitoring.
end sometimes.
And some people just they're wearing headphones sometimes 16 hours a day. Like, if they're not asleep, they're wearing headphones. And that's, because they're either working or they're on the phone or they're, in a conference call on Zoom or they're, watching videos or whatever. They could be in headphones all day. So you get something comfortable, wear them all day.
I'm sometimes wearing them when I sleep.
That I try not to do because I like to sleep on the side sometimes. And this is not good for me or the headphones.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to break this mic.
Glenn, I know you and I both did technician work. Tony, I'm not sure. I'm sure you always had to wear headphones as well, but the kind of technician work that Glenn and I did, I think like those were headphones all the freaking time too. And there's no getting around it. You have to.
Yeah. It's one of the things that killed telephones for me. Like I won't get on a phone call now just because I had my time on the phone and now you're not getting me on the phone. So like this is as close to a phone call as I get when we do these.
Or text
Ring,
message.
ring.
I'll text anytime anybody wants. Like I'll text a book back and forth before I'll get on a phone for even 10 seconds. But because I know that 10 seconds turns into 10 minutes, turns into an hour and a half, and it's like, what the hell just happened in that last hour and a half?
Yeah.
That whole thing.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm just like, dude, I'd rather just talk, get it out instead of going an hour and a half and texting.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a couple of different like flips to the coin.
Yeah. It's like a lot of people that are close to me know that they're if it's a quick thing, you just shoot me a text. But if it's something that you have to talk about, you shoot me a text saying, hey, I need to talk to you about something that's not quite a text thing, and then fine, like we'll talk about it. But just calling me out of the blue is like, what?
Yeah. This thing don't ring.
Ding ding.
All right, what's the next one?
So for our last one, this is another conversation we tend to have a lot in the back rooms, and it's about why talented musicians don't always lead to success, why they don't always succeed, and what actually does matter to succeed. It's a discussion about how the music industry really works and whether you are the most talented musician in the world, it does not guarantee success. And it's important to understand that.
And see, I wouldn't even look at it. I don't like to look at it from a competition standpoint. So best in the world, worst in the world. I look at it as a competence thing. I would love to be, I've even heard it was a quote of Jerry Garcia's, like somebody called him the greatest or whatever. And he's like, I would love to be remembered as a competent musician. That would be great, because that's all anybody should really strive for, like to be, at least competent in at least one, style, one instrument, whatever. I would love to be competent in a lot of different things. So I'm trying to branch out in different directions because like the more I study different things, the more interested I am in other things that are also very similar, which seem like it's not that much of a leap from where I am to be able to do something with that.
Yeah, I just want to be happy.
I don't like to do that either because I know in our time of doing this, I have watched so many just evolve into the best that they can be. And that's that's what I appreciate and love.
I want to be better than I was yesterday. That's the only one I want to be.
Yes.
Better than,
Yes, exactly. Or to see like when we met them, years and years and years ago, and to see the evolution that they've made in their artistry in themselves.
And that was the other thing, is the millions and millions and millions of amazing musicians that are out there. Because in the past, not everybody had access to the instruments and to the instruction materials and everything else. But today it's so easy to go on YouTube if you're interested. Like if you have any interest in any instrument, you can get the instrument, you can find people on YouTube to show you stuff. And if it doesn't make sense, you can find friends in the real world or teachers or whoever to kind of get you that last step to get you to where you can learn on your own with the materials available.
Yeah, I think the big question when you're talking this kind of discussion is to ask the artist, what do you consider success? What would you consider being successful with music? And those expectations tend to drive, like, if it's just, I want to make $1 million, that's not the best motivation for making music.
Not at all.
It's probably also not the best route to do it.
No, there's easier ways to make $1 million than learn an instrument.
Chatbots could show you 10 of them right now.
As long as it doesn't play the piano for me.
Oh yeah. Are you guys ready to dig into our first video?
Yeah, let's start with
let's dig into this TikTok thing. Oh goodness. Mind blowing.
Legal side. And I like to start with the legal stuff at the beginning because this stuff is changing so fast these days, and I've got links to these in the description. This one's coming from her at Top Music Attorney channel, but she's also got at Miss Crystal Live, and Delgado Entertainment is her law firm. All these channels are useful to visit for different legal news, but Top Music Attorney is where she does cover a lot of these platform changes. And this week, she went after TikTok because this policy change, without really informing the users, without giving them a chance to opt out when we're talking about AI, and just automatically allowing your content to be used in a learning engine, is kind of giving up your identity when they start making their own TikTok videos that kind of look like you and kind of act like you.
I hope not. I know they have a hard time on even programs that we use, even creating an AI bot of me. They said they have a hard time making a 3D image of me, which I find very amusing.
So you're a pain in the ass to model.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
I told you they broke the mold after they were done with you.
Exactly.
Angela.
Wait till you hear just how far they went with this. And like I said, it's not retroactive. It's all your TikTok content.
Yeah.
So TikTok just made all of our videos available for AI remixing. How is this even possible or legal?
Just so you know, when you post a video, you are allowing AI to remix your content. And if you want to turn it off, you have to go to each individual video and turn it off. Well, this is going to take a while.
So creators who make social media content and post it on TikTok right now are losing their minds. I so have to applaud the creators who are actually going and individually updating the settings on all of their videos hundreds of times, thousands of times.
I didn't think I would be spending the rest of my day manually going through every single one of my 1,000 or so TikTok videos posted since 2018 that have all been non-optionally, non-consensually opted in to the TikTok AI remix feature.
And I equally understand those who are saying, they're like, I can't possibly do this. I'm not
Okay,
even gonna
stop that.
try.
I saw a lot of people talk
I wouldn't even do it for 20 or 30, let alone hundreds or thousands.
Well, there are a lot of content creators on TikTok, and they got paid by TikTok to make content. And so for them to go ahead and go every single day live, build up that audience so they can, make any kind of bank, that's what they had to do. So there are people that probably have over 250,000 videos on TikTok, okay, that now will have to go back. And it sounds like it's the beginning of their TikTok accounts. It doesn't sound like this is just from this period of time on. You know what I mean?
The fact
again, this is
that
about the training set. They need to get the data for the training set, and anybody who doesn't think to check or whatever, like if somebody just doesn't check their account in the next couple of weeks or whatever, that it's already in the data set, and by then it's already too late, right? It's already baked in before they opted in or out, so it was just assumed that it's opted in. So that's kind of where they're going with that, I think.
Well, the
Which
fact
is
that
also
it
really
wasn't the case.
crazy.
It wasn't the case when you originally uploaded that TikTok or put it up there.
But you agreed to changes in terms of
now,
Agreed to changes, yep.
and this is a major change that I could see Supreme Court level fights over this kind of policy changing when the impact it will have.
And
I
it
would
has
be
been
sad
in
to
the
see that,
news. It has been in the news lately about different AI going rogue. So just so you know, and
It's
it was a
also
valid
been
resource, Glenn.
it's also been in the news just in the last few days that Taylor Swift is going after her likeness and use in AI anywhere, and this is where you're going to start seeing celebrities
Matthew
copywriting
McConaughey.
copywriting their imaging at
and
the
that's the thing
AI
is
level.
a certain tier of celebrity can do that, yes, and they will, and at a certain point, like the very very top tier will do that, but the vast majority of actors, actresses wouldn't necessarily need to. Celebrities, not everybody would need to do that, but at the same time, I could see where people could want to, and if they start seeing issues.
Yeah, well, wait till you see how TikTok is handling the reaction to it, and how they're ensuring that, like, future lawsuits and things. You know how these legal writers are. They're trying to avoid any potential problem for doing this, which I hate when
Old
companies do
stuff back
this.
to 2020, and I turn it off for each video individually, and I cannot do that.
I too not only have thousands of videos, but I have different brands with thousands of videos each. So yes, TikTok has quietly changed the rules, and everyone's videos have been opted in by default.
I have a backlog of hundreds of videos. It took me hours. And now, for every video that I make going forward, including this one, I have to go into the privacy settings before I post it and switch that little notch and let them know to not let AI remix it. Every time.
Other companies like TikTok, they have not been this aggressive. And the actual level of predatory conduct by TikTok is actually astonishing. I mean, the fact that there may come a time very soon where you're scrolling through TikTok and you'll literally see yourself remixed into someone else's video. Someone made something without your authorization using your face and did so legally.
Kind of sounds, and I don't think I'm making too far of a reach here, that the TikTok AI remix feature is going to be like the Sora app, but you could put me in a different outfit, make me say something I would never say. That's crazy.
I mean, setting aside the effects on your brain of just using TikTok in general and what has been well studied, which is the dopamine effect of getting on the TikTok algorithm. I mean, as a society, we're literally being trained to crave stimulation, and it's not an accident. This is how the TikTok platform is engineered. Now, this isn't just a TikTok problem. Every single platform is competing for your attention. They'll do whatever they need to try to get a leg up on the competitor. So we've seen a lot of these tech companies, these different platforms, stealing whatever they want to train their AI models. But with TikTok, it just decided to update its contracts to automatically opt you in. And the way that this works on paper is that TikTok can come back and say, well,
and it's gonna get worse.
So this is where it's definitely gonna get worse. Oh my goodness. And if they set this by default, they're gonna go back to what we were talking about prior, where it's already we've done in the terms and conditions. We've
And
already agreed to that.
you
What's
know how
wrong?
much worse it gets? It's not just the TikTok videos you posted. Those private ones that are sitting in queues that you never posted.
Those two?
That's what I'm saying. When I heard that, I was like, "Oh my God, can you imagine if YouTube took all the private videos and things that you never put out
Wow.
publicly, and in some cases you chose not to publish it, and yet they're using it along with everything else in their model
There has
training."
to be some
That
kind of infringement on that.
those legalese that you click, yes, I agree, say otherwise,
Plus, the
unfortunately.
legal framework moves a lot slower
Yeah.
than AI progress. I mean, AI progress has gone vertical, and I mean, the legal system does take time. It tries to catch up. They try to pass emergency measures and things like that, but they have to fully understand the problem as well. And again, these problems emerge as these systems gain capabilities.
Mhm. Well, this is unbelievable that by default, it automatically takes your private and unprivate, anything that you have ever published since creating your TikTok account, and has access to make an AI of. I wish them very good luck with me.
And the funny thing is we're talking about TikTok here.
I know.
YouTube's been actually doing some of this as well since the beginning of the year, and it
Oh.
hasn't made as much noise because they haven't been as drastic as what TikTok
Okay.
did here. But the same thing is going on YouTube when it comes to your videos are being used to train their models unless you go in and opt out. At least YouTube gave you an opt out option.
Yes.
TikTok, I'm glad I don't use that platform.
Oh,
And this is
Perot,
just another
Johnny,
reason not to.
Rollo. I see you guys all in the chat. Want to give you guys a shout out. And do you understand this? If you guys have anything on TikTok, you need to go in there and you need to uncheck that box. So that way you are not the next AI. Yes, they can be using you, using Perot's beautiful freaking guitar playing, Johnny's beautiful chicken sounds and songs and guitar playing. Just total blast of creativity. Rollo, one of my faves.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and take care of that so that you don't become the next AI bot. I mean, Rollo might like that too. I mean,
Rollo would break.
We'd be breaking bot molds. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right,
I think the safest approach, Perot, is to not use it. At least for me, right now, I wouldn't jump on that as a platform.
Oh, good.
Knowing this, I would wait and see how the dust settles here, because if they think they can get away with this with all the TikTokers, half of them will comply. The other half will say, you know what, TikTok's dead, and something else will come out that doesn't hopefully do it this way.
Rollo said he's made his own already.
See, I told you.
That's awesome. All right, let's get into this.
are legally doing this, but I really think that this goes so far beyond what is legally okay and what the general public at large would agree to. Now, there are two places where TikTok says you already gave it permission to do this AI remixing, and both of the updates that happened occurred on January 22nd, 2026. And the first place is the privacy policy, and this is what it says. We, TikTok, may collect user content through pre-uploading at the time of creation, import, or upload, regardless of whether you choose to save or publish that user content.
You hear how she laughed there?
That the
Like,
analysis,
she cannot
the scanning,
believe
the training, all the things that are happening on TikTok are actually happening in the drafts that you have saved in your account. And so you don't even have to publish it anymore. TikTok is already accessing those videos. The privacy policy goes on, so you give permission to TikTok to train, test, and improve technology such as machine learning models and algorithms. So yes, your content and your drafts are being used to train TikTok's AI. But it actually gets worse, because in the terms of service, which is a separate contract that you agree to when you use the platform, this is what it says. You grant to TikTok a license that is non-exclusive, irrevocable, meaning you can't take it back, and royalty-free, so they're not going to pay you, including to adapt or make derivative works for developing new technologies, including training machine learning models. Let me
It gets me fired up, Crystal.
So is TikTok actually getting you to the point where, and if you download the content and delete it off the platform, what legalities do they have to that? Because you may have created it with their tools that they have available only to users.
You can delete the content, but it's not going to change the fact that the machine now already learned it. You can't make the machine unlearn
it
when it's been trained.
Right. But also, when you were talking about, like, if you were to remove it from the platform before it gets trained in, what are you going to do with it then? Like, right? Like, what platform are you going to put it on? And that's the question then, is like, if you're putting it on a different platform, are they going to then come after you for putting it on a not their platform?
Correct.
Well, she did mention in the terms that it's a non-exclusive right that they get to your content. So you can go put your content on other platforms. They're not saying it has to be TikTok exclusive content, but they're using it to train their AI. So if they decide to make a virtual Ange in the future, because it knows
I don't know, that's a good idea.
Well, because the internet demands it, really. I mean, that's the
thing.
Yay! We finally got our virtual Ange, but she doesn't work for us.
I keep hitting the bop button, but she's not bopping. What's going on?
Maybe she can chew bubble gum.
I know you can't walk.
Nope. 2 left feet. All right, let's see what else she says.
So, like I said, even the private, never published stuff is all part of the big basket that they just swooped up. And from what she's saying, they started programming it and training it back in January. So deleting it now isn't going to change any of that.
Even further. You're giving TikTok the right to not only remix, but to modify and make new versions of your videos. And I'll say it again, you can't take back the right. And you're not going to get paid for it. And here's what's so wild to me. The terms go on to say you also grant users on the platform the right to adapt or make derivative works. So it's not just TikTok, it's anyone on the platform having these rights to make new versions of your videos. And so for content creators who are like families who have children, for example, so your children's faces can now be used without their authorization, without your authorization, and even if right now you watch this video and then you go and delete all of the videos that you're concerned about, the videos may be gone, but it's actually too late. So if we take a step back in the predatory nature of TikTok and just using the platform, the fact that our attention spans are literally going down every time we use the platform, in that TikTok has trained you. These algorithms have trained you that you need to make sure you have attention, that you do volume, because if you don't, your viewership will go down to nothing. So you get punished. And even in that, I believe it's predatory of these platforms to do that with the algorithm. And so I do my lawyerly thing and I go, what can we do about this? Well, in the terms of service, it says the platform is provided as is. We shall not be liable. You bear all the consequences. And actually, the very most money that you can get if you bring a lawsuit against TikTok is $100 or however much you paid TikTok, which is probably less than that. The
How's
issue
that
is not
for
that
insulting?
TikTok has AI remixing. It's that it forced everyone in automatically, and your consent now has to be removed, and also in an extremely difficult, time-intensive way. So here's the question. Is this the new world that we live in, and everyone just needs to get with the program? Technology is advancing, and this is the way companies just have to go about it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm Miss Crystal.
Wow.
Oh, she's gonna need a bigger
Bro,
hammer.
Metal Music says I watch her all the time. She's great, and I couldn't agree more.
Me too.
Great lawyer. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've actually started going to her other channels because I can't get enough. At Miss Crystal, she's got like over a decade of kick-ass songs. She does everything.
Yes.
Good stuff.
So go subscribe.
Yeah, but the at Top Music Attorney one is where the AI battle. She's been to the Senate a couple of times. She's one of the ones actually advising some of these AI lawsuits that they're talking about. That I hope they get out there. They got to straighten this stuff out. They can't just trust that the companies behind it are going to be responsible here. Because that's irresponsible. What TikTok's doing, irresponsible.
Definitely, because that's a big change. You know, and that's not some little thing, you know, in fine print in the contract, you know. That's a very big change that's been updated since TikTok began.
They were
because
kind of
it has changed hands and all, you know.
They were kind of hoping Miss Crystal wouldn't notice that and that they could just kind of slide that through. And that way it basically just removes all liability for them going forward. Right. So like everything. Oh, no, it's in the terms you agreed to.
Yeah. Well, she got the same eagle eyes that you do, Glenn. So like they're not sneaking shit past her.
She's going, what is this right here? No.
Perot said people can join her lawsuit. I guess she does have a lawsuit going on right now, so
she got a
we'll
couple of
definitely
them.
have to
She's
go ahead and
actually
check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, especially if you know that your music has been used for AI, he says.
The trickiest thing is to prove that your music was part of its training, which there's probably some ways to do it depending on how distinct your music is. And
I'd say that's the biggest one right there, because I mean, it's so easy to like, if my sound was somewhere between, you know, like you could tell the influences of, you know, the Grateful Dead and Eric Clapton and Pink Floyd and this and that, like you can pick out those influences in the final product, but you could also tell an AI, give me something that mixes this, and this, and come up with something that sounds very much like it very easily.
If I heard your voice, I'd recognize it.
That's the key. That's where it comes down to the vocal aspect, right? But it's going to get so hard to prove something if it was just musically, you know. It's like, oh, that was my progression, or oh, that was my melody. Like, you know, those kinds of things can be reproduced quite easily. And it depends how distinct something is. And, you know, as you said, very hard to prove that something, you know, especially when it comes to AI, because it's already a derivative. How far derived is it?
Right.
Yeah, and like Perot said, when it comes to Suno and Udio, at Top Music Attorney, this is where she has been covering it since the beginning.
Yep. From every change in the
Come on,
terms of
Glenn,
service
you gotta
to the
say
lawsuit.
that with me. She's got it going on.
Oh, it's on. And at Delgado Entertainment Law and at Miss Crystal Live.
Exactly. Well, all right.
Perot says he has proof.
Excellent.
You should definitely reach out to her. Make sure, that if you do have proof like Perot does, that you do sign on to that lawsuit and help her fight to save, you from becoming the next AI bot.
Yeah, and if you
That'd
feel
be
like
really
you've
funny
got,
because do you think you guys would be able to notice me as like an AI bot? Do you think I stick out like as a sore thumb that badly that you'd be able to recognize me as an AI bot?
I tried
Very
doing
hard these
that a
days.
couple of times with you, and I couldn't recognize you in the bot.
Yeah.
Makes it tricky.
They're
It's getting
not
harder
that
every day with that.
good.
Yeah.
I know Glenn had some AI graphics going on at one point in time. I was in a tree and my face was here and there and melted into things, and very cool.
And Tony had my voice doing Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
He quotes the Raven.
Yes, nevermore.
No, you got to say it so it like scares me, Glenn.
Quoth the Raven, nevermore.
That is
Oh
kinda
yeah,
scary.
there it is.
CAI, fuck you. We got a Glenn.
And now.
But now we're gonna melt into some music making in a totally different way. We're not gonna make the music, we're gonna make the instruments.
I like it.
Which-
And that's the thing.
which is-
3D printing has come so far. This is one of the things that I've been very interested in for sure.
And he's got some look, he did Japanese crazy instruments in another video. So when we do a Japanese night, I'll be back, Landon.
Absolutely.
We got to make sure Spar Legacy's in the chat for that one.
Actually, he'd be
Yeah.
the one. He'd be the one to test some.
To invite, right?
Him and Steph.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So this one's coming from @Landon Purifoy over on YouTube. Wow, 14.2 million. People like what you're doing. and if he's playing
Me
around
neither,
with
Perot.
3D, if he's playing around with 3D printers and making things like instruments, things like that, it's no wonder. The one we're going to look at is he got a new 3D printer and he decided to try out like some of the instruments that you can actually make with these things.
Gosh, it so looks like Play-Doh.
And one thing I love about the idea of a violin or a cello or something along those lines is being naturally fretless instruments. You don't have to worry about the precision of frets being here, here, and here, because that's where intonation issues come in, things like that. It's more about just being able to fret the notes and having it be comfortable at this stage. So much more forgiving for the way you print things. But the question also comes down to materials, because originally you could, when they first came out with 3D printers, you could make something like that. But as soon as you put strings on it and start trying to crank some tension on it, you're going to snap that neck and have a whole mess in front of you. So.
Well, and that's why when he, at the end, he's going to do a guitar. And that's the one we've actually seen a couple of examples of guitar builders who tried going that approach and the guitar bent.
I don't know how bad I want to take my finger and stick my fingerprints and draw a little over it.
Put a little ands right in the corner there. You know what? Get a little Spider-Man. You can you put him right in there.
Right? Oh man. I have a couple of Spideys behind me.
I know. You got at least one we can put in there.
I have another one upstairs, and I've got a life-size one in the sunroom.
Yeah. Well, we can like set the violin on the life-size one for later. Like he can play
TikTok
that while
just
we're
made
not.
I should bring him in here too sometime.
He's fun.
It's been a while since he came to visit. Anywho's, yes, Puro. It is a 3D printer violin. Orange is a strange color. I said the same thing.
Oh, he's going to print a bunch of them. Watch.
I'm about to print the craziest instruments in the world, like this insane staff that transforms into a flute, or this epic 3D printed electric guitar. I even printed the world's loudest death whistle. Okay, this is the first
Oh,
thing we
Jason wants that.
Super Mario
Jason wants that
fidget
death
toy.
whistle.
Oh, that's cool.
It actually played the Super Mario Bros. Theme. That's so cool. And later we're testing a violin you can print at home, a crazy staff that turns into a flute, and much more crazy 3D printed instruments. Next, I printed off an ocarina like the one from The Legend of Zelda.
At first, I thought he said a Macarena.
This ocarina actually sounds really good, but it looks kind of boring. So we did this. You can actually use different kinds of filament to make your prints glow in the dark. Believe it or not, this ukulele was completely 3D printed. We finally got this tuned, now it's time to try it out. Wow, this thing sounds great. I've literally never played ukulele in my life. That's a ukulele. Okay, this is the hidden staff flute. The company that came up with this is called Teletoons. Okay, apparently you just take off this cap and take off this cap, and then I guess you just flick it and it turns into a staff. All right, let's try it.
Oh, wicked.
That is
Glenn, you
so
need one of those.
Okay, this is a hidden staff, but it's also a flute. I feel like I'm playing a flute.
I can see you saying that too.
Taste the wrath.
See, it's got to turn into a double lightsaber when you do that.
Peru with a death whistle.
Whoa. So this is a drone flute. It plays 2 notes at once. Listen.
Oh, so you can literally make chords on that. That is pretty
This
cool.
is so cool.
It's kind of like a bagpipe
And then it just
kind of a
collapses.
sound.
You can fit this in your pocket. They also make all of these different drone flutes. I'm calling this the banana flute.
That's because it's yellow.
This kind of looks like a recorder.
It looks like 2 straws.
What the heck is this? How do you
Playful.
even play this one? It doesn't have any
Right,
like
'cause
holes.
it's green.
Oh my gosh, that's loud. Oh, look at this. This one even has a little keychain. Oh. Oh. It's
Ooh, a
so
tiny ice pick.
If this actually
Bro,
sounds
you probably
good,
want one
this
of
is
those
gonna be
too.
like the most portable instrument ever.
Oh, he's definitely a Mario fan.
He is.
So small. Whoa. Ooh. Oh, that's so cool. It's the jazz scale.
You like jazz?
Peru wants to know if he could 3D print a wife.
Okay, we're outside. This is the
You're
world's
gonna need a
loudest
pretty big
3D
printer.
printed
Cheers.
whistle. You're just probably gonna freak out. I have a decibel reader right
Death
here.
whistle
We're gonna see how
loud.
many decibels this gets up.
Oh,
All right, here
no.
we go.
I'm
3,
turning down.
2, 1.
Well, I guess the dogs could hear it, huh?
God.
Pissed off all the
So
dogs
loud.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that was definitely 118 decibels. Ow. I 3D
louder than a
printed
jet
boom
engine.
whackers. These things are awesome.
Ooh, I want a boom whacker.
Ma said he's gonna trade in his bike for that 3D
Guys,
printer.
I just figured something
Hi,
out. You can
Super
turn these into
Maha.
a pan flute. Still love that. So those were the boom whackers. Just like the boom whackers, I played the recorder in elementary school, so this one really brings me back. But in elementary school, I didn't have a dragon recorder. This thing is pretty lit. This would give you like 1,000 plus
green?
for if you pulled up to kindergarten with this. Like, come on.
So the dragon is snake charming.
See, Maha.
Yeah,
if you're
I
the
wish I
dragon
had the
punk,
3D
you need
printed
that flute.
dragon recorder when I was in 1st grade. Recorder squad, let me know where you're at in the comments if you played recorder. This thing's awesome. Next up, I printed an Aztec death whistle. It was said that the Aztecs used to blow into these to frighten their enemies because it makes a really scary
fact.
sound. Okay, well, I've never blown into this before, so let's go ahead and try it. All right, here I go.
Oh, actually, that's
Right, that
pretty
does sound
cool.
literally terrifying. If I heard this, like going into war, I think I would pee my pants. But I decided to print a giant one. I'm pretty sure this is the largest death whistle in the world.
Except for
Let's
the
try to blow
actual
into
ones
this one.
that actually like look
The
like
hole is way bigger than this one, so it's really hard. That's all the breath in my lungs. But I have an idea. Okay, this might be a stupid idea, but we have a leaf blower.
I
was thinking bellows.
Blow into this because my lungs just can't handle this. It's gonna like blow out of my hand, man. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Dude, that'd be awesome for special effects.
That's a Jurassic Park dinosaur.
If you're wondering what printers I'm using the Prusa XL right here, and then over there is the Prusa Core 1. The Prusa Core 1 is their newest printer, and it's really nice because it comes with the enclosure. It's just super pretty. You have a glass door right here. It comes with everything you need to start printing. And then this is the big daddy. This is the Prusa XL. This thing has 5 printer heads, which means you can have 5 different filaments ready to go, and it will be able to take a head, print one color, go to the other head, print another color. It's crazy. So once you finish with the print, you actually just pull out the build plate, which is this piece, and then all you do is bend the build plate a little bit. You'll hear this crack a little, and then it's ready to remove. These are just supports that help the build so that you can just take them off. Prusa was kind enough to send both of these units out, and it came in clutch. I didn't know anything about 3D
Would it be cool if we could use recycling and do this?
If you're actually looking to get a 3D printer, check out the link in my description. You can see all of Prusa's awesome.
And why aren't we doing
I printed out a violin.
Save
the crazy thing about this violin is that the 3D printer printed off this whole entire body in one piece, and then it was just the neck. I did have to buy strings to put on the violin, but everything worked great and it's all tuned. I just haven't played it yet.
I want to know how much
I have our bow right here. I just realized there's no chin rest. I forgot to add that, I think, but I think we can still play it. Let's try this. Here we go. Bro, tell me why it sounds better than my real violin.
Your real violin sucks, apparently.
Because you're using a better bow. I agree, Pro.
Wow. I want someone that actually knows how to play violin to try this. That was supposed to be the McDonald's jingle. Here's Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Kira knows that one. I've heard her practice it.
Oh yeah, like years ago. She's definitely advanced since then.
It's a classic.
I remember these little frogs.
There's literally a green frog, Tony.
You would stroke their back with a little wood stick.
I have the brown one.
I saw the model online and I had to print it off. But then I was like, I want a giant frog. So on the software, I just made the frog bigger and tried printing it off. And this is what I got. A giant frog. He's so heavy. Listen to this croak.
Oh,
and listen to this croak. Look how chunky he is, man.
Sound like the little one sounds actually natural.
But it's also a whistle.
But that one did.
You're supposed to put water in this, and then it sounds like
that's a bubble flute.
Okay,
that's gonna sound cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's
puking. It's puking.
Let's try this out. Oh. That sounds like birds, like tweeting outside, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we made it out to nature, and we are now gonna test this bird whistle and see if we can call in any birds.
They're like, what's wrong? Do you need help?
I don't think it's working.
He's gonna get a date.
Okay, we found some drums. These are 3D printed, like bongo kind of things. I think they're djembe drums.
This would be another one.
But they're cool. They turned into 2 pieces. We just had the top lid part and then like the red part. There's like a bunch of ways you can play this. You can just hit it in the middle, or you can flick the sides.
It sounds good.
And then you can start going crazy. I'm not a djembe drum player, so don't criticize. How do you play 2?
Glenn, your arms are big enough. We can put 5.
Hello.
You get a board. You put hole each side.
These are actually really fun to print. They printed with the beads. So they printed, and then you just take it off, and there's beads in there somehow magically.
Oh, come on. You gotta pop out those holes.
I cannot. I don't know what I'm doing out here. They even have little holes, so you can like... I don't know what I'm doing.
That really did not make that sound. Oh, dude, I have no clue.
That kind of sounds cool. Not gonna lie, I just threw the rock on there. Anyways, it's pretty crazy the amount of percussion you can actually make with 3D
What do you guys think? How much do you think
this is a tapaphone?
His printer
As you might have just saw, you just tap, you tap with this thing. It's 3D printed.
That's
There's
a
really
big one.
thin
So
layer on top.
They start around 2,000-3,000 ish,
kinda sick.
but when you get bigger like that, and that one has 5 heads.
Yeah.
Probably
Hey, it kind of
closer
works
to
like
10
a pan
grand.
flute too. Look at that.
And it's also a question of how much the prices have come down as the technology improves.
Well, and the material is the long-term cost. You can get an inkjet for $50,
This final
but
instrument
that
is by
ink
far the
costs
most
you
insane
thousands.
3D printed instrument you've ever seen. This is the Prusa
This
caster.
is why I watched this video.
Hexagonal for strength.
Yeah, that's
Low
slick design.
Prusa actually designed this whole guitar, and they just give away the file for anyone to print off at home. So in theory, you could print this guitar and make it any color you want. You could even make this whole thing glow in the dark. The like
Glow in the dark? Are you for real?
Design is just so cool. I have the perfect guitar cable to match this crazy guitar.
That is true,
And of course,
bro.
we have our 3D printed guitar pick. Okay, we have the Prusa caster hooked up to the amp. Let's crank this up. Ooh, this thing already sounds exciting. The guitar is so light. It feels different, but it's really cool.
Well, it looks like you get a hybrid of wood and plastic.
The center of gravity is also like right dead in the middle too.
Hell yeah.
This thing is crazy. The guitar itself isn't even that hard to make. Once you have the right parts, Prusa actually made a great video explaining how this thing is put together.
Wow.
And I'm honestly blown away by this. This is definitely one of the most impressive
So
instruments.
not only do
Big
you
shout
pay
out to Prusa for
thousands
sponsoring this
for
video and making all of these
the
instruments
machine,
happen. Don't forget to like
then you gotta
and
think about the
subscribe,
material,
and if YouTube's algorithm actually works,
and then you gotta order parts, and then you gotta put it all together.
And that's for one project.
I don't know.
And then you're gonna do
I
another
know.
50 projects because it's gonna
That's
lead you
what
down
I'm
the
saying.
line.
I don't know,
Well,
bro. It's kind of sounding like I just want to go to the shop and buy one.
And the benefit to having a 3D printer in that case is if you're conceptualizing, if you want to try building custom parts, custom instruments,
Correct.
it's nice to have to conceptualize things. You really wouldn't want to be doing this to mass produce and make money, because you would have to charge 5 times as much for a guitar just to build one.
Now we've seen some that actually had modular pick guards that are removable, like they're magnetically on there, and you can just literally like pull the whole pick guard off and slap on a whole new set of pickups. So you can turn it from Strat style with a 5-way switch to NSG style or whatever. You can change things up just by pulling off a pick guard and putting on the other one. Same idea. You could take with something with this kind of setup. You could make it modular where you could have it look like a Telecaster, or you could have it look like a Stratocaster, or you could have it look like a Flying V or whatever. You could, make those changes very easily around the same electronic setup even.
Yeah, and if you're building something like a guitar, it looks like he kind of
Dragon guitar, exactly.
he mixed wood
The frog
with
guitar
plastic.
too.
Making a flute, you can do that all in plastic. Making a guitar, you're gonna want to use wood for like the neck. I mean,
Mahan needs that
you could do
dragon
it in
flute.
plastic, but
A flames guitar. That'd be pretty cool.
well, the violin was actually really interesting. That's
Yeah,
a
it
pretty
was.
complicated one.
But it
to,
literally, it looks like I want to like play in Play-Doh. I want to like design and like put my fingers on that violin and literally draw. It's bad. I'm
We'd
sorry.
make it green for you instead of that orange color. We'd get green.
Yeah.
Maybe glow in the dark green, but definitely green.
But the problem is, if we put green over that orange, it's going to turn into it.
But I'm just saying, just green.
Color,
No
you know.
no orange, just green.
Right. We'd have to put a good primer on it first.
Sure.
Yeah.
that was
Maha said,
Landon
let's sell our
Purefoy.
guitar and buy the printer to make guitar.
There you go.
You better have a
Yes.
really nice guitar.
Not only that, but I mean,
That
with
is-
a printer like that, regardless of musical instruments, there are plenty of projects that you could make that could make money. Whether it's not to mass produce things necessarily on a large scale, but there are plenty of little like crafty kinds of projects that you could make and sell for a few bucks or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of the companies that did get 3D printers in the early days, they'd use it to make the parts that they conceptualize and then send it off to like China
Prototype.
to mass
Mm-hmm.
reproduce, because you got to test it first. And
Yep.
this helps you to build the part that you need. And then once you know what you need, go make me 10 million of them.
Yeah. Plus, you can do the modeling out of the plastic that you can do with the 3D printing, go through different iterations to get to the exact thing that you need. And then when you get the dimensions exactly right, say, okay, now mass produce this out of steel or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And the plastic that they use in this,
Yeah.
it is a recyclable plastic that,
Okay.
this violin sucked. Okay. Just melt it back down. And a lot of these will use the same type of plastic. What you can't do is just go grab any old plastic and throw it in there because
But that would
you'll break
actually
it.
be genius, wouldn't it? If you'd be able to take your recycling and literally be able to melt it down to create your 3D printer image.
That's kind of Star
I
Trek
mean,
replicator level recycling.
it
It's,
is, but
same
at the
idea.
same time, like
I-
we would have less trash in our landfills and
I'm on board.
and
I just
all.
it doesn't make
All
economic
right, well,
sense.
government, get on board.
I
That's the only
actually
thing I'm gonna say.
saw a video where he used a 3D printer to make a 3D printer.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear Lord.
And you could make, or you could use a 3D printer of this size to make an even bigger 3D printer. Like you make the
That's what he
components for the
did.
structural parts. Yeah. Because they were building houses. They can 3D print an entire house at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
depending
yeah.
on what you're making it out of. But like that no longer looks like a printer. That's now a construction site with like, you know, wheels and
Yeah,
pulleys
it,
and
it looks like
hoses and stuff.
concrete. It looks like concrete being printed into walls. But it's fascinating
like,
technology. It's the
If
future.
you did like Perot was saying, all the plastic bottles, you take the plastic bottles and even the glass, if you could melt down the glass and put a nice like glaze over top of that plastic so it doesn't look like somebody's playing with Play-Doh. Because seriously, I wanted to roll on that violin. It was just
I'll tell you, even
yeah.
paint on the outside
It
of that,
would, it would make it
change it
custom.
entirely. Like put like a glossy
Exactly,
paint on the
Maha.
outside, it would look like a regular instrument.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Maha's got a buddy with a printer who made him a case for one of his inventions. And that's why I would want one, because I want to make my own custom inventions that I can actually make a case for.
Even just stuff
But
like
then-
the Raspberry Pi, like, you know, being able to make your own Raspberry Pi
Yeah.
case, like stuff like that. A phone case, you can 3D print, you know, most parts of a phone case. You know, that kind of-
Now, Glenn, you had me at pie, but then you went off and made sure it wasn't food. So that would be the question. Literally, is a 3D printer worth the purchase? Or is just purchasing that item that has already been made that's sitting in a guitar shop?
If you're buying
you
this
know,
to
worth
if you're
more,
buying this to
like
make a guitar, you're paying a lot for a cheap guitar. So
well, what I'm saying is, wouldn't it benefit more if you were using it to make food?
See, I would buy it to like fill that shelf behind you with like all kinds of like 3D printed Spider-Man and whatever. Like, you know, I'd be printing,
Well,
you know, getting things online for like different
I
action
have
figures
a
and
lot
stuff.
of like. Well, there are some action figures back there. Actually, there's tape
But I'm saying you could make
recorders,
custom
there's-
action. You could make Ange action figures, is what I'm saying. Like, you know, custom action figures.
That's
Doesn't have to be-
cool and
doesn't have
all,
to be
but
you,
I'm
but, you know.
sure there's also a company that I could order it from that could probably do it a lot cheaper than me buying a 3D printer.
if we made
and
them,
paying for
yes,
the
but-
supplies for that purpose.
oh, but I want to make a transformer.
And that's the thing. It's about doing all the projects. The 3D printer isn't just
As
like
long
for
as
the
you
one
put me in
project. It's for
MIB.
all the projects.
That was a fun one. At Landon Purifoy, loved it, Landon. I will be back. I got a 3D printing night cooking that you definitely fit the bill. Fresh channel.
And Landon, you should think about going ahead and maybe carving in some designs and stuff like that. That'd be cool. Just saying. But don't go with green, because if you go with green on top of that orange, like I said, you're looking at
With the
brown.
printing, you don't have to with the printing, you don't have to carve it. You model it. There are printers that will actually sculpt. They're called subtractive printers, and they start with like a block, and they sculpt
Well,
out.
it's plastic, so they have to have sculpting like tools for 3D printers
This
and
is
such,
this
right?
is this is
I mean,
additive
come
printing. This is additive printing. So it takes melted plastic and it just uses the plastic it needs.
Okay.
So you could do something like a
printing is
CNC machine could cut things
But
out.
I'm sure that if you typed into, especially a 3D printer of his magnitude, if you went ahead and you tapped into that one, you could probably put a design right on that top layer that was being printed out. No?
yeah, you can design into the model.
So.
It will print
Okay.
it with the design.
And that's actually where you would get into the actual specifications of the printer, where the better the printer or the newer the printer, the finer the detail could be. So you could have entire, like, entire textures and everything on the surface with a printer that can go down to features of a certain, dimension.
Yeah, eventually we will be able to print a wife Perot. I have a feeling.
I mean, honestly, I've seen, video
Cleaning the
thumbnails.
planet's a great
Video
idea.
thumbnails for robots, like, coming up soon. So I mean, there's robots that you can have in your house pretty soon coming up. So who knows? Depends where you are too, right?
Yeah, the robots are
After
coming.
watching Megan, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, there's good sides and bad sides to the whole thing for sure.
Yes. What's we got next, Tone?
Well, now we're going to get to the good sides of lyric writing, something that we've got an expert here. And this one's coming from @12tone, a great site for explaining all sorts of stuff in nice, little drawings that make sense to me. And when we're talking about lyrics,
That makes sense to me.
it's not just about the words. I like the pictures.
I know, that takes me on a little journey. It reminds me of Enigma Bird.
Yeah. It's a creative approach. And for the secrets of lyrics, all right, I got to flip here.
He's getting that's a treasure map.
There we go. Tricky with loading these videos. I got to replace them.
Yep. Sorry, folks.
Right. Now
We get to look at that orange violin again.
It does have the F
He's rubbing it in. He's rubbing it in.
You're checking our homework on this one.
Hey, welcome to 12tone.
We've got the secrets.
Lyrics. We don't tend to talk about them much on this channel because I'm very easily distracted by cool harmony stuff, but it's hard to deny their importance. They're the first thing most listeners will identify with in any given song, and they're the clearest means of conveying your story, so since as a singer I do have a background in lyric writing, I suppose I might as well address the elephant in the room. Lyrics are, in a way, one of the most mysterious elements of composition. We can talk about how a minor key makes the harmony sound sad, or how large leaps make a melody sound powerful, and while those are both fairly broad generalizations and not necessarily true in any specific context, at least they work as guidelines. But for lyrics, it can be hard to even get that far. Sure, mentioning crying will probably make your lyrics sound sad, but language is so complicated and there's so many different ways to say the same thing that even finding a good starting point for structural analysis becomes a daunting task. And yet it's hard to deny that great lyrics and great lyricists do exist, so what's the secret? Well, it's surprisingly simple.
Ding, ding, ding.
Practice. Okay, that's not super helpful, so let's get a bit more specific. Practice writing poetry. I mean, it makes sense, right? Lyrics are basically poetry set to music anyway, but if you strip away all that extra stuff and just focus on the poetic structure,
poetry
you quickly realize
is a
something
good start.
incredibly important. Words
It's
are
a good
more than
start,
just their
but-
meanings. They're also made up of sounds, and those sounds are the fundamental atomic structure from which we build lyrics. The most obvious part of this is rhyme. I
As
suspect
long
you're
as you
already
don't
familiar
get
with the
stuck
concept
into
of rhyming,
rhyme
so I
all
won't
the
spend
time.
too long on the
Yeah,
basics,
yeah,
but there's
yeah, yeah.
actually
You
a
don't
lot
wanna
more
get
to it than
carried
you
away.
might think. The version you're probably thinking of right now is the end rhyme, when you rhyme the final syllables of two different lines, like in the classic BNL song 1 Week, which contains the very meaningful line, "Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken, you have a drumstick and your brain stops tickin'." And yes, chicken sounds like tickin', but that line actually contains more than just end rhymes. Both those words contain that ick sound, and we can find that same syllable in other words like chickadee and drumstick.
Oh,
This
it's
is called
gonna get
internal
icky.
rhyme, where the rhyming syllables are buried inside the line instead of just sitting at the end. Adding internal rhymes to your lyrics can help provide a bit more cohesion, making the whole thing feel like one composed piece instead of just two lines that you haphazardly tied together. You don't even have to connect these internal rhymes to the end bits. Check
So when he says internal rhymes there, he's talking about those strategic words that aren't necessarily the start and end kind of rhyming, but certain words that just kind of resonate throughout the lyrics that indirectly rhyme out of time.
Indirectly rhyme, but are made to hook you.
Even parts of words, like they were saying ick, like that
Yeah.
syllable.
Yep.
I told you it's going to get icky.
Check out the use of China in Chinese, whose first syllables unsurprisingly match as well. That particular example may seem like cheating if we cared about what the words mean, but from a strictly phonetic perspective, it totally works. Internal rhyme is a huge part of writing more advanced lyrics, and if you want to learn more about it, the best place to look is probably hip-hop, where they're so common that they can even replace end rhymes, blurring phonetic structures across lyrical lines to tie everything together into one giant, complicated rhyme scheme. It's really fascinating. Check out Cardboard Castles
Well, it
by
is
Watsky
true
for a good
about
example.
hip-hop
But we're still
and
just
rap.
looking at rhyme placement. What about rhyming itself? From an analytical perspective, what is a rhyme? I mean, sure, it's when two sounds sound the same, but what does that mean? Well, all the examples I've used so far are what are called perfect rhymes, where the entire end of the syllable or word is the same, like boom and zoom. But boom also sounds like dune, which has no M, and it sounds like bam, which has a completely different vowel. This
And
brings
I
us
do
to
like
what are called slant rhymes, where the
I
words
do
are
like
kind of
those kind
similar,
of
but not
rhymes.
quite as close. We can break
In
these
You've
into
seen me
rhymes.
go in my
Consonants, where the vowel
Snakes.
sound is the same, and
Yeah.
consonants, where the consonant is the same. Liberal use of these sorts of semi-rhymes, especially for internal stuff, can really help your lyrics sound deep and polished without limiting your word choices too much. You just have to be aware of it. But rhymes aren't the only way in which the sounds of words can affect your lyrics. Possibly even more important is the impact of accents. Not like sounding British or whatever. In poetry, the word accent refers to the specific stress pattern in a given word.
What's
For instance,
that
in the word
sound?
explode, the emphasis is on the second syllable, whereas in syrup, it's on the first. In normal speech, these accents just fall wherever they want, but in poetry,
Syrup.
they're often very tightly controlled. For instance,
Syrup.
Shakespeare often wrote an iambic pentameter, which meant that each line consisted of 5 iambs, which is a fancy poetry word for the accent pattern of explode. The patterns don't have to be tied to the words, though. For instance, in the famous line, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" Summers has the accent on the first syllable, making it what's called a trochee, like syrup. But it's placed in such a way that it's actually split across 2 iambs, so if we zoom out and look at the phrase "a summer's day," it works just fine. Traditional Western poetry tends to stick very closely to
agree,
its accent
Perot.
patterns, which gives it a sort of rhythm that you don't find in normal speech. When I say "shall I compare thee to a summer's day," the alternating pattern of on and off syllables creates an almost musical quality all on its own, and the sentence just rolls off the tongue beautifully. But lyrics
All
are
right, can we
different
stop there
because
for a minute? Perot had put in the chat emotions is important, and it is. Not every song has a chorus, and not every song is rhyming on a certain
Well,
fours or twos or whatever it may be.
it,
Emotion is very important, but it is also the job of the vocalist that is performing it. So, say, Perot, you wrote a piece for Jason. Okay. You wrote the song, but Jason's going to sing that song. And so he has to emotionally connect to your writing in order to be able to perform that to the best of his ability
yeah.
and to really make you feel.
Emotion when it comes to performance is one thing. Emotion when it comes to lyrical writing is like using that strategic word that like I bleed. You use that word that like emotionally represents something at a higher level. And in lyrics, sometimes the word is the emotion, and it the singer just knows like when I say this word, I'm gonna sing emotionally.
And it also doesn't have to fit the rule either. Like you don't have to have end rhymes all the time. That's one of the things that kind of, tips people off that it's kind of, novice songwriting. If it's just every line is always matching all the time, and it kind of the words sound a little forced because they kind of have to after a while if you're gonna go, and really hammer on that. But
some genres lend more to the rhyming like that. Some genres you have flexibility and you don't have to follow the rhyming rules as much. If you are in hip hop or like pop, they tend to like stick to those rules almost exclusively.
it's also good to stay away if you can from literal, like even with one of my favorite is something from a Grateful Dead song where instead of talking about red, white, and blue for the American flag, they talk about crimson, white, and indigo because it fits the phrasing of what they're trying to do. Crimson, white, and indigo. And then they're able to like continue that line along because it's more lyrical, more into the way they wanted to phrase it, where they could have just said red, white, and blue, but they wanted to phrase it that way because it made the things work in the song.
Well, it's a very colorful way to translate it.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's the point. Like
Literally, I literally did that one hand.
and there's a lot of different ways to say different things. So like you don't always
Say
have
that
to
word one more time. Literally.
Literally.
Exactly.
There, you got it.
Just like that.
That's where lyrics really matter. It's all literal.
Music
But not
already has
alliteration.
rhythm.
That's different.
That's what drummers are for. This means we don't have to be nearly as strict with our poetic meter, but it doesn't mean we get to stop caring about accents. Whatever melody you're singing, there's going to be emphasized notes and less emphasized notes, and in my opinion, one of the biggest differences between amateur and professional lyricists is how well they line up those accented notes with the accented syllables of their lyrics. It's a really big deal. Once in college, a friend of mine played me a song they wrote, and the only thing I remember about it is that they said the word secret but put the second syllable on the downbeat. That stuck with me, and not in a good way. Finally, I know we set aside meaning earlier because it's hard to quantify, but practicing poetry can help with that too, or at least it can help with one of the most important aspects of it, imagery. Being able to evoke emotions and ideas indirectly is crucial. For instance, Benny King could have sung When We're Scared, but instead he went with When the Night is Cold and the Land is Dark and the Moon is the Only Light We'll See, and I think most people would agree that that's way better. Poetry, again, strips away a lot of the other tools that music has to make people feel things, forcing you to invest as much emotional resonance as possible into the actual words you're using. Plus, if you follow the forms we talked about earlier, it kinda just becomes a lot harder to use the same line over and over. After all, there's only so many words that rhyme with sad. So yeah, poetry's awesome, but how do you get started? Well, I'd start by finding something to write about, something you have an emotional attachment to, like a loved one, a hobby, or a treasured object. It can be anything you want, just make sure it means something to you.
Okay,
then you just
pause.
write a poem about it. If you need some more guidance, I recommend...
Okay. So my advice wouldn't be to actually write something personal to you. Maybe write about the first thing you see, your cat Jimmy. Okay? Write about, if you want to get personal, write about the blanket your grandma made. Okay? Make something that can touch somebody else, because if you go ahead and you make something too personal, it might only resonate to you in a certain way, and it may actually hurt you down the road when nobody else appreciates it as much as you do.
Creative exercises are good to do to challenge yourself. So if you feel like you need to get better at writing something personal, then exercise. But if you're like just like, hey, I want to kind of free think a topic or a theme, then sometimes it is just as simple as looking around and saying, well, I'm going to sing about the world today.
Write about the stop sign that's at the street corner and how many stops it's had.
In some cases, I think the personal part is about writing what you know, as far as, rather like in some cases, it's easier to start by picking a subject that you're comfortable with. And it could be, something from the bus ride that you take every day, like one of the people that you observe on the bus, like try to picture yourself or a story about that person. Like you've never seen anything about their life, but you see them every day. Imagine what their home is like or what, whatever, like, just pick some aspect of their life. And, they are a character that you can go down that rabbit hole, with anybody.
Damn, Glenn, you're in outer space.
It happens. Especially with, being this tall. Sometimes I just got to like bring the chair back down a little bit and then I'm okay.
Or just sit in a shorter seat next to somebody who's really short, and them, so you actually feel like you're the same height.
Well, that happens actually because my sister, as a matter of fact, she's a foot and change shorter than me. And if we sit next to each other on a piano bench, like we've done at like family functions over the years, we are almost the same height because she has just no legs compared to my particularly long legs. So when we sit next to each other, we are nearly the same height, but then we stand up and it's like, whoa, where did all the rest of that come from?
Right.
Oh, Perot's got an interesting idea there. Eat your best dish. And then start a song, and that feeling of like satisfaction.
Spaghetti.
Now, is this after dinner nap, right? Think about your song while you take that little nap, and then you get up and bam.
If you're fortunate to have a nap.
Those Thanksgiving songs.
Exactly.
All right, what else he's got?
Writing a sonnet. They're a bit old-fashioned, but they've got a great structure for practicing a lot of the stuff we mentioned earlier. We did a whole video on sonnets a while back, so if you want to know how they work, there's a link in the description. All in all, the conclusion here is probably fairly obvious. The more time you spend playing with language, the better you'll get at it. Poetry is like the pure, distilled form of lyricism, and writing poems is like doing isolation training at the gym, which I assume is a thing people do at the gym. There's no formula for great lyrics. Anyone who says differently is selling something. But if you want to get better, probably the best thing to do is just write some poems. Plus, if they're any good, you can just set them to music later and boom, free lyrics. It's really that easy. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks to our Patreon patrons for making these videos possible, and extra special thanks to this video's mysterious benefactor, Duck. If you want to help out and get some sweet perks like sneak peeks of upcoming episodes, there's a link to our Patreon on screen now. You can also join our mailing list to find out about new episodes, like, share, comment, subscribe, and above all, keep on rocking.
Yeah. So his link is in the video. You go to his link and you can get all the links to this video. Just saying. Very cool.
Not only that, for writing lyrics, I would also say doing things like writing jokes, for example, is something that's good for your use of language, because jokes have a very different connection to language than lyrics would, and it can open up different ideas for songs, characters, all that kind of thing.
And you don't always have to be singing a melody as you're trying to do the lyrics. Ange has gotten some singers to actually connect with what they're singing by making them speak their lyrics and making them actually say their lyrics rather than sing them. And sometimes it helps a singer to realize what they're singing about.
Yeah, and what he said about that word, secret, coming at the wrong downbeat, something that's off like that would really stick with you. So, even if you have to stretch the wording out or change the wording a little bit, change the timing of the sentence or whatever, you can have lines that carry over into the next, the next phrase or the next, line. But it's better than having it, sound forced or sound like something lands wrong, where you're landing on the downbeat and you're not supposed to be.
I think with his general advice of like start with poetry mentality isn't just about like the rhyming thing. It's about thinking of every syllable, and like poetry does actually bounce like a percussion.
It's not just syllables. It's not just every syllable. It's also expanding your vocabulary.
And rests. There are also moments of pause in between words. You can add extra moments of pause between words to make things fit better too, but they should feel like they belong there.
Yeah. Oh, Scotty got flashbacks of picture pages. Me too. That's why I love at 12 Tone, because it reminds me of like Captain Kangaroo and yeah, I love picture pages.
What else we got?
So I think he did a good job there. He gets an A in my book on the lyric advice, and he was like honest that there is no one absolute here. Writing lyrics requires different approaches depending on you and what you're trying to do.
And how much you want to put into it.
Yes.
Obviously. Any good songwriting book will tell you use all your senses while writing a song.
I do.
And now you actually pay attention to the lyrics, so I can confirm.
What are we eating there?
Okay,
I can hear it. I hear it going crinkle, crinkle, crinkle.
I'm eating a nut mix.
There you go.
Oh, you are a nut mix.
It just sounds like it's like you're eating it like on the microphone. It's like like you're trying to hide it from the dog, and then like, no, it's mine.
It is mine. Okay, what do we got?
Well, now that we've learned how to put some words together, something that I really wish every singer would learn, the proximity effect. And this is going to be coming from Learn Audio Engineering, not a freshie for us. We've been here on some of our mixing nights. Great channel for audio advice, and especially like how to get the sound that you're looking for. And here he's talking about something that is super important for engineers to get good vocals, good captures of guitars and drums. The mic that you're using and the proximity effect as things get closer to the mic, you got to know your mic, you got to calibrate it. And if you're a singer with that kind of mic, you get to know your voice, because Alanis Morissette used this shit like on every song to make those songs sound like her style.
Yep. And the more you do the practice these kinds of things with distance from the mic and singing things loud and, figuring
And
out
muting
where you
when
need to be.
appropriate.
Yeah. Got to be where you need to be.
When you're singing with mixed nuts. To the next one.
Up and away.
But we always start with a blank sheet of paper. That's where the best place to start.
There we go.
Hey, welcome back to Learn
Make
Audio
sure you have a
Engineering.
pencil.
I'm your host, Robert. Come on in and get comfy, because today we're going to be talking about the proximity effect. When it comes to recording, not all mic positions are created equal. Often you might be recording in a less than desirable space and want to get the most direct sound as possible from the thing that you're recording to minimize the sound of your room. Now, this can be accomplished with close miking your instruments or vocals to get as much of that intimate, dry sound. But because of that, you must be aware of how proximity will affect the sound of your recordings. In this video, I'm going to walk through what the proximity effect is, why it happens, and how you can use it to your advantage when you're recording different tracks like guitar or vocals, so that you can determine if it would be of benefit to you depending on your style of music, the vocalist you're working with, or the other instruments in your mix. By the end of this video, you'll understand how the proximity effect can be used in recording vocals and instruments so that you can select the approach that works best for your project.
Drums don't
So let's kick it
always
off
need to
with
be
what
mic'd.
is the proximity effect?
Just
Well, the
saying.
proximity effect is a change in frequency response that occurs as a sound source gets closer to a directional microphone. This causes an increase or emphasis in the bass frequency response, usually below 100 hertz, as the sound source approaches the microphone. The closer the source is to the mic, the more exaggerated that low frequency output becomes. Now, this is often associated with vocals, especially with vocalists eating the microphone. Some vocalists tend to like this because it thickens up their voice. It gives them that radio broadcaster sound that's sort of larger than life. You'll also see this done in live performances, as well as singing closer to the microphone can somewhat shield it from picking up the rest of the stage noise. So basically, if I talk into this microphone with my lips basically touching the grill, and then I do this again from several inches away, yes, there is a difference in volume, but when we adjust for that volume difference, we hear that there is a huge change in bass response with the closer version.
I like
having
that he's
much more
giving
bass
live
presence
examples
than
right there.
the version that's recorded further away like this. This video is sponsored by DistroKid. If you're making music and you want it on streaming platforms, DistroKid is one of the fastest and easiest ways to get your songs onto streaming services
Okay,
like
let's
Spotify,
pause this.
Apple Music, Tidal, and many.
So before he goes out on who to select for that, I'm just saying, refer to video number 1, Miss Crystal. She could probably tell you the safest way to go ahead and get your music out there and which distributors are good to use.
Oh, yeah.
That's Scotty,
that's
I don't look sassy. I am sassy. Okay. But getting to what he's saying with the mic, it not only depends on that, but also location of where you're recording. If you're in a church, it's going to sound a lot different than if you're in a small bar room.
Well, he made a great point there that with that kind of mic, when you do use the proximity effect, you're actually alleviating some of that room noise that can happen. And if you are in like a church hall or something like that, you probably should stay like this, because when you do go back, that room will pick up on the mic.
I do, however, like the suggestion that Glenn had made earlier too about having the upper room mic. So depending on the room, again, would depend on the mic and the volumes as well for proximity.
Yeah. Yeah,
You don't always have to mic the drums.
if you do have mics that are
For a
actually
kick-ass party.
designed to if the mics are designed to capture the room up there, and then you've got mics for the singers who are
Yeah.
designed for them to actually go in,
Right.
hopefully between all the recording, you capture everything.
Right.
And
Hallelujah.
the mic he was testing there, that's a very common one when it comes to like backup vocals, and some singers like they use that style.
Yeah, and in some it's not even a style. Some just don't realize, and they just sing far away,
Yeah.
and they can't realize. They're like, "Oh, just turn it louder, turn it louder." But that's where all of a sudden they start getting feedback from the monitors, because you can only get so much that you're picking, that you're adding to it. And the more distance you put between your face and the mic, the more room there is for that sound to bounce back off of you, and and then the sound from the speaker to bounce off of you and go into the mic and cause that feedback. But they will, a lot of times when they're singing on stage, they will literally eat the mic. They'll be right up on it, but that's where you bring the volume down when you come in like this, and then you bring the volume up.
He turned Howard Stern on us there for a second.
I have
But if
to
I
tell
stayed the
you
same
though,
volume when I did that, it would have blown your ears out, and that's why you can't do that.
No, you totally
I
sounded like Howard Stern right there.
I have to tell you though, the cutest thing is when a kid gets up on that mic for the first time and doesn't know proximity. That is the most adorable first, okay.
Those
Anyways,
kids eat the mic. Those kids like, this is a lollipop.
Well, it also depends on what kind of monitoring you have. If you have a good monitoring system set up and they can hear
Correct.
themselves,
Yeah.
when they can't hear themselves and they just start yelling really loud because they can tell that their voice is going out there, but they're not really hearing it up here. But if you give them good monitoring where they can actually hear the quality of their voice, then they can really interact with it.
Come on, Glenn, you were in school. So do you remember being in like grade school, like kindergarten, first grade, where you had to like get up on the mic in front of everybody at the school and say some little phrase or recite something? And do you remember there was always somebody in the class that didn't know that proximity that would literally get up on that mic and we'd be like, whoa.
Oh yeah, happens all the time.
And you're almost like begging them to back up. Yes.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. A lot of times it happens even just at these gigs that we go to where, there's somebody who's going to be an MC, or they're going to be, not an MC, but just announcing, somebody's birthday, or, thanks for coming tonight and whatever, but they're, not normally an MC. They get up there, and again, they hold the mic way down at their waist, and they're trying to talk from back here, but they're mumbling, and they don't have, they're nervous and everything else. So all of that comes together, where if you just give them that, notice at the beginning, just stay up close to the mic and, just talk in a normal voice, but up close to the mic, and address the crowd, and everything will be fine. But when you bring the mic way down here,
loud with me since I have hearing issues, so I think I would have to be really, really quiet in order to get the same thing with proximity.
She just got intimate there.
Exactly.
Scotty, his first time was a spelling bee. Oh, damn.
Oh.
Now, see, I was telling you that I took piano as a kid, right? Piano recitals were a thing that we did all the time. So it was, every year, I don't know, a couple times a year maybe, but you would have to, go and play piano in front of, a room of, 100 people or whatever it is, because, it's every kid that they had lessons with that teacher and all of their whatever else they brought, for whatever. So it's not public speaking as much, but it is getting up in front of a whole crowd and going up and performing a piece, and then, getting up and sitting back down. That whole kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you had good posture.
I did, and
because that's part of the piano lesson.
Kindergarten, I was always big. I mean, being this big as I am now, right? I was always big for my age, and in kindergarten, I could sit on the little itty bitty chairs they had, and I could put my hands flat on the floor while I'm sitting in the chair. That's how. I mean, not that I was that enormous, but I mean, the chairs are that small, and I was like, what the hell is this? But I also while I was in kindergarten, I had already finished all the way up through third grade with math, and all the way up through second grade reading, because it was a kindergarten that allowed you to work at your own pace. So I just was motoring through stuff, because that's the way I always worked best. If I just could sit down and work on the material. So I was supposed to skip first grade, or first and second, but my parents were like, no, you should be with kids your own age instead of your own size. So
they'd have to put you in college. Kids
yeah.
the same size.
And that's the thing. At that point, they had no idea that I was going to be that much bigger than everybody all the way up. But it was just from that point on. Like I passed my sister in height when I was 6 and she was 9 for the first time. And then she shot past me up to 5'4". And then I just kept going to 6'6". So that's where I am now.
You're just like torpedo speed.
I was like 5'4". I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep going. But by the time I was 13, I was already 6'3". 6'3" at 13. So yeah, and now I'm 6'6".
Yes.
Fun stuff. But I digress. We were talking about DistroKid, right?
Yeah, and like I said, before you stick your stuff out on DistroKid, we are not representing DistroKid. Please check into Ms. Crystal to find out the best distributor there, so that way you can make sure that your stuff is completely safe from AI takeovers.
There is a big decision.
Unlike TikTok.
We've had a couple of nights. We talked about that.
There's a storm coming
You
when
can
it comes.
upload your music and distribute it worldwide while keeping 100% of your earnings. And DistroKid now offers print-on-demand merch. You can print your album art onto t-shirts, mugs, and tote bags. Everything is made to order, so there's no inventory overhead. Customers pay
Patreon
for
does
shipping.
the same thing.
DistroKid's print shop handles
I do
orders,
like the
packaging,
Earth Angel
and
music,
delivery
though.
straight to your customers. You set the prices, control what you sell, and keep 100% of your earnings. So if you're ready to release your music and reach listeners everywhere, check out DistroKid using the discount link in the description. Huge thanks to DistroKid for supporting the channel, and now let's get back into the video. So what causes the proximity effect? Well, directional microphones actually pick up sound from both the front and the rear of the diaphragm using acoustic ports. This design allows the microphone to compare the pressure at the front and back of the diaphragm, which is what creates its directional pickup pattern. And that's why you'll often see these vents or openings around the capsule.
Oh, damn, I got a
allows
mic
sound
with
to
the
reach
same
the
dent.
rear of the diaphragm and create that
I
directional
dropped
behavior.
mine in
As
the
a
same
sound
spot.
source gets really close to a directional microphone, we get a change in frequency response. Low frequencies become exaggerated, resulting in a noticeable bass boost known as the proximity effect. This happens in part because at close distances, the low frequency waveforms interact differently with the front and the rear of the diaphragm, which increases the microphone's sensitivity to bass frequencies. Another thing to keep in mind is that sudden addition of low frequency energy can really change your signal's frequency balance and may also contribute to distortion in the signal chain if your levels are not properly managed. So as the distance between the microphone and the sound source decreases,
So I do have to say, when it comes to vocalists too and singing and things, Elton John always sang very, very quiet to not disrupt the vocal cords. So, you know, it's also a thing with the proximity and how much you want to push that instrument.
Well, plus
which microphones you have, that how well they pick it up as well. Different microphones for different situations, and the distance to the microphone for sure. But if you're going to sing quietly, it's important to be close for any kind of microphone, relatively close.
Especially if you're doing it with a piano right under it.
Yeah.
The type of mic he needed was a specialty for that situation.
Well, except for Luder, he puts so much heart and emotion into it. Literally, we need to back that mic at least 6 feet.
6 feet.
We have some drummers who will use like plexiglass, sheeting to kind of baffle so that they don't get crushed by the guitar player, or that they don't crush the guitar player or whatever with their sound. And we could use that for vocalists as well. Like if they're too powerful, you just lock them in a room and get the mic in there and get it so they're not sounding distorted, and then we can boost out here as much as we need to, but we're not going to get overpowered by it standing right next to them.
Yeah.
Well said.
Sometimes it's important. You got to be able to hear what you're trying to do musically.
Increases and we get a proximity effect. And this also has to do with the inverse square law. Basically, as distance increases, intensity decreases. As you get further away from a sound source, it propagates away in all directions. And that means that sound expands over a progressively larger spherical area. And as you move that microphone further away, it will receive a much smaller concentration of the sound than it would if the microphone was right in front of the source. I think it's around a 6 dB reduction per doubling
I'm blonde
of
and I
distance,
understand
although
that
when we're
one.
inside, room reflections can definitely affect this. So you may be wondering, is this a good thing? And as always, it depends. As I mentioned earlier, vocalists like the sound of proximity because it can thicken up the sound of their voice, which can be a desired effect in some situations. Aggressive vocal styles like metal can often achieve that larger-than-life sound by eating the mic to take advantage of the proximity
And we
effect.
have seen
Proximity
a lot
can
of
also
that.
be useful when you're close miking guitar cabinets or drums to increase the amount of low-end presence and thicken up the overall tone. Here's a quick example of an SM57 starting at 12 inches or 30 centimeters away from a guitar speaker and then slowly getting closer until it's touching the grill.
Oh, and I used to do this. I used to test this all the time.
She's imitating.
Turn her into a bird.
So not only does the guitar get louder as the mic gets closer, the sound fills out as the low end becomes more present due to the mic's proximity to the speaker. And sometimes this can work in your favor. But other times, placing the mic too close can create unwanted mud. Sometimes it's just a bit too chunky. So if that ever becomes a problem, consider backing the microphone off just a
Wait, he
bit
said
until
mud.
the tone sounds
And then he said
Now,
chunky.
all this next part is just a theory, but there might
It's
be
a chunky mud.
distinct impact. You know, having something much closer to you is going to be much more intimate and have a lot more low end to it. The Fletcher-Munson or equal loudness curves also state that louder sounds will typically have more bass. Deeper voices are also deemed to be more authoritative, so podcasts or aggressive styles
Damn
of
it,
music
Glenn,
can often
you're
benefit
authoritative.
from this phenomenon.
Yeah.
Deeper voices are also more resonant and commonly associated with trust, whereas higher pitched voices are often associated with being more playful or enthusiastic. But again, just a theory. So are all microphones affected by proximity? No. Omnidirectional microphones have no proximity because they don't work by comparing the pressure difference between the front and rear of the diaphragm. They just measure the sound at one point. However, microphones that have multiple polar patterns that use two cardioid capsules to create an omni pattern may
it's all
still
about
experience
proximity,
this.
either
So to
way.
check that out, this next example will feature an advanced audio 47 FET in omnidirectional mode using the same guitar test as before, starting at 12 inches away and slowly getting closer until it touches the grill.
I love that he's testing with these different mics. Hear the difference right off the bat.
Come on, Glenn. What is it good for? Come on. What is it good for? Sorry, put out myself.
I'm gonna have to consult with our guitar whisperer.
So omnidirectional microphones don't have a proximity effect, and figure eight mics actually have the strongest proximity effect because they rely entirely on the pressure difference between the front and the back. So when you get close to those microphones, the difference is much more exaggerated, especially in the low.
I want your
So
coffee,
next we'll
Glenn.
do the guitar test on a Coles 4038 and then an advanced audio CM414 in figure of 8.
Thank
This is going to
you.
be the same test as before, starting from 12 inches away and slowly getting closer to the
I
guitar.
love these tests he's doing. You get sweet spot right there. You can really hear where the sweet spot hits.
What are the songs come to your mind?
I'm thinking Cheap Trick right now. Damn it, Wes. Why is everything Cheap Trick?
Girl, just walking down the street. I'm telling you, we could do it all. That is what I said. Scotty knows.
Now, there are also some directional microphones that, due to their design, don't have a proximity effect or perhaps a much less exaggerated one. Several microphones made by Electro Voice, like the RE20, the RE320, or the RE15, use the patented variable D system, which uses multiple ports along the body of the microphone to control how sound reaches into the back of the diaphragm. This keeps the low end consistent and
Lord, I'm a
prevents the
hyperbole,
big bass
so
boost you get when you get close up to the mic, so that you can move around the mic
Literally.
with much less change in tone, which is really useful for podcasters, radio hosts, and that's one of the reasons that you see these mics often used in those settings, and it's one of the reasons that I love using this mic for my voiceovers.
Variable D is an exclusive EV feature found on our RE16, RE20, RE27ND, and
I've got one of
RE320
those.
premium mics. It's a magical technology that stabilizes the mic's tonal performance throughout an extended working distance. As I move in and get away from the mic, the tone of my voice is going to remain consistent. And this is why Variable D actually allows cardioid microphone to behave like an omnidirectional. There are no drastic tonal changes. So as I work the mic, the tone of my voice remains consistent. So this is Variable D.
So now let's hear this microphone, the Electro Voice RA320, in the guitar amp test.
what I send you on video or something. Goes just a walking body. She goes just a walking down the street.
And he's gonna write a song by the time this test is done.
No, I'm gonna cover a song by the time this test is done.
So there you have it. That's the proximity effect and how it shows up differently on a variety of microphones. So will this change the microphone that you use when recording vocals? Did this give you any ideas to try out in the studio? Let me know down in the comments. I hope this video helped you out. Leave a like if it did, and consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
With amping up the or with miking up the guitar amps, it's not just about the distance, it's also about whether you're pointing at the center of the speaker, edge of the speaker, halfway to the edge of the speaker, whether you're pointing a little bit up or a little bit down or straight at it. I mean, there's all kinds of nuance to how you're actually dealing with it, and there are different methods you can use, but most of the time you listen to it and you see what you sound like, you see what your input looks like, and it depends on the mic a lot. So
Yeah, we actually looked at a couple of new mic stands and microphones designed just for recording cabinets and dealing with that, like miking a cabinet situation.
Oh, that sounds painful, Wes.
Gotta mic the cabinets. And that's the thing, is usually for the bass, you end up doing a direct input. So you basically just take a direct signal from the bass, and then we take that. But then when you're doing the guitar, you want to get the actual tone from the guitar amp as well. So that's where we take microphone to get that whole part.
Well, watching this made me glad that I have a nice variety of mics. I do have a good variety of mics. All the different tests he did there between the omnidirectional and the directional, and you see where some of them have almost no effect, and some of them you get that sweet spot. You find it, you put a piece of tape on the floor, and anytime you're doing this, you put it there.
Another thing is with the at least one of those microphones had a pop filter in front of it. And not that you need a pop filter for that, but a pop filter can help you also with your distance from the mic, because if you have that pop filter at exactly the distance you should be, and you're always right up on that pop filter, it's just like, that's a cheat sheet of how to get exactly where you need to be, and you're always hitting that target.
Yeah, it helps some singers to figure out what they're dealing with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And make sure any of the videos that you've seen tonight, you go ahead to their channels, you subscribe, and you say Ange sent you. Share that love.
Yep, absolutely.
So, at Learn Audio Engineering, one of our go-tos when it comes to audio engineering, because that's some good information.
Absolutely.
And now we got a freshie here, but it's from a channel that should be in our following, the Artist Guides. And
So do we need buffs when you say freshie, or is this just a new channel we're sharing tonight?
This is a new one for us too.
Yay.
It has now been added to
in the
our
11 o'clock hour.
yeah, at the Artist Guides. And there's guides on everything. Damn. This is what I'm talking about. These channels that cover the industry this way. And this video, why I wanted to end with this one is what he talks about here is why talent and success don't always equal the same thing in the music industry.
It's all about perspective, Tony. Allegedly.
But what we were saying earlier about like expectations, and when an artist thinks like, oh, I did all the practicing, I'm the best I'm ever gonna be, and why am I not successful? The success and talent in the music industry, there's no promises or guarantees between those things.
There are people who say it's more about who you know than what you know, and that, you know, it kind of does come down to that, where if you do meet the right people or get the right opportunity, you can get right in there from nothing. But if you don't, you can, you know, knock on as many doors as you want, and you will have a rough time making it. So it's one of those things where, you know, there's no proven way to make it happen, but the best thing to do is to, you know, produce the content and improve your content and hone your craft. You know, get better at what you do and make it impossible to not have them notice you like that.
Yeah, and look at these discussions and consider them from your perspective as a musician. So I like covering this stuff because it helps me to understand what I'm dealing with the industry and what I'm dealing with as a musician.
Yep.
And I know Dorian's in the chat, and he said having real fans is better than having success. You can lose everything and still have your fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
I consider having real fans success.
Hey, welcome back to Learn Audio Engineering.
It's like that is.
Wes says I always believe there's always you can always improve your ability. There's no limit.
Yep. Getting better every day.
And what is Scotty saying about Vegas? Same philosophy applies here in Vegas.
It's
And in Vegas, it's days in
There's
Vegas.
gonna be
Only in
talented
Vegas.
musicians out there who never find success. I mean, seriously talented musicians. Singers that if you'd heard them, you'd think to yourself, how are they not famous, right? Why did they not make it? What's gone wrong here? Now, having worked with thousands of musicians over the years, there's something that we notice time and again. And that is that talent alone does not determine your success. Now, I appreciate this is a broad generalization, all right, and there will always be exceptions to every rule, but I do believe this is mainly true. And I don't say this to deter you and to discourage you from pursuing your goals. In fact, the opposite, okay? I'm trying to encourage you to pursue your vision and to see how far you can take this. Now, before we get much further, let's just define what we mean by talent, because talent is quite a broad term. So for the purposes of this video, let's break talent down into two different categories. So we can have technical talent and we can have artistic talent. And so for technical talent, we mean your ability to sing or play an instrument, things such as your control or your precision or your timing, right? These sorts of measurable skills. And then for artistic talent, what we mean is your ability to express yourself creatively, your perspective, those kinds of things. Okay, and these are two different types of talent. There is a difference between being a skilled musician and a compelling artist, and that's the transition that lots of people don't make. So I've met countless musicians in my time who can be better than people who are already having success. So I've met singers who are better than singers who are having hit records, and instrumentalists who can play better than people who are in successful bands. But what they're not doing is they are not developing their own artistic voice. They are not communicating their artistic vision. They are not putting themselves artistically and creatively into their music. And they are not, therefore, connecting with people. So when people see them, they will be impressed by them, but there isn't that connectivity to something that they're trying to express.
Okay, you gotta
to them.
pause that.
And that's the connectivity that is required to make.
So, you know, he made a good point there. You can make as much music as you want, but if you're not able to express yourself creatively and creativity, you're muted. Ha ha ha. Creatively, if you cannot express yourself creatively and put yourself out there, a lot of chances you're not going to be seen.
Yeah. Well, it's not about quantity.
No,
it's a
let-
little bit about quality, but it's not all
People
about
got
quality, and it's definitely not about
found.
quantity.
People got found while they were pumping gas at the gas station
Right.
by
It's
just
also
being themselves and using their artistic
But
creativity
I would call
wherever they
that,
want and loving
Ange,
what
I
they
would
do.
call that luck. If you got
That is luck.
discovered pumping
But if
gas
you
at a
were,
gas station
but if
as
you
a
were playing in a
singer,
subway,
that's luck.
what about if you were playing in a subway? Is that luck as well?
If you're actually playing and the right person who can give you a record
So isn't it
contract
the
comes
same
up
if
to
you
you,
stick your
and
set out on
again,
DistroKid?
timing, luck, exposure, being in the right place at the right time, it's a
So it's
perfect
all roulette.
storm.
Well,
Yeah.
all of those are ways that it can
I'm
happen.
going
but
with 3.
I would say that that's not the plan, though. That's not the plan that you're not banking on that, right? Like, so the
Right.
idea is to just try to, and again, not everybody's looking for, commercial success with their music. Some people just want to make music and enjoy making it for themselves or for themselves and their friends. So, it
Or to
depends on your
inspire others.
goals, right? Do you want, are you trying to get famous? Are you trying to make millions? If that's your end goal, then that's a totally different path than if you're just trying to make quality music for yourself and get better at the craft of making music for yourself. And if success comes, that's on its own, that's a whole separate thing than actually making a quality thing.
Well, and
True
Wes hits a
story.
good one.
Yes.
Attitude is important too. Not just your
Yes.
attitude that you portray to others, but the attitude you have about like how serious you take things. You have a good attitude, you'll get through the early music career.
Doing, again, learning for the sake of learning, improving for the sake of improving, because you want to make a better, not product, but a better product of your efforts. Yeah.
I want to make a better me.
Exactly.
When I'm actually making music, I feel like I'm making a better me.
Every day.
Yes. All right, you can unpause him. Sorry.
Just a really great musician.
Hammer time.
Now, we spoke about these before in videos, but it's things such as your artistic voice, your identity and brand, your value proposition. What do people get out of listening to your music and being in your world as an artist? Okay, what is that connectivity? What emotion is it that you're giving them? What do they feel? Why should they care? Because if it's not clear to them, then it's always going to be difficult for your music to land. But the good news is you can develop this. So if you're more of a technical musician than you are a fully formed artist, you can work on this. And it's the sort of thing that I work on and coach artists on all of the time. It comes from your artistic intention, understanding your perspective, exploring your creativity, and working on your vision creatively and what it is that you're trying to achieve and putting in to your music creations. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen over time if you commit to that kind of process. Now let's assume that you've done all of this.
Commit
Now
was
you've
the word
developed
there.
your talent fully in the way that I'm talking about. That you are now a skilled musician and you are a creative artist. You have developed an artistic voice or are in the process of developing an artistic voice. Okay, even if you've done all of that, what I'm saying is that level of talent alone is unlikely to make you successful. And the reason for this is that successful artists tend to have a whole set of qualities in place in addition to their talent that help them to become successful. And I'm talking things such as drive and work ethic, determination,
Relatives.
curiosity, willingness to learn, confidence, or at least the ability to overcome self-doubt. Okay, all of these kinds of human and working qualities that are in place that they can apply to everything that they're doing, not just the music creation, but all the other things that are required to help you build some success. So let's just apply all of these qualities to probably the single most important thing that you need to do, which is to create great music. So it's all very well when you're new to doing this, okay? You're still an emerging artist, you're an independent artist doing this on your own. Turning this from a hobby into a career is quite a transition, right? So it's great to create music when you can just do the things that you want to do whenever you want to do them. You can just do the nice bits that you enjoy doing and not worry about the other parts, okay, that are difficult or you're not that interested in. Right? That is not going to get you to
I guess
where
that's
you
where
need to
the
get
phrase comes
to
in,
make
don't
this
quit
your
your day job.
You need consistent product for your audience.
Unless you're
Right? And I'll
already
put
a
it in
musician
business
in your
terms,
day
and we'll get to
job,
that
in which
a little
case
later on.
you better be
But that is
moving
what
up.
you are ultimately doing, right? Is creating product for your audience. And to do that, you need to be writing a lot of music, creating loads of demos, trying new sonics, keeping your sound fresh, okay, pushing, moving forwards, doing things even when you don't necessarily want to do them. Because the reality is, creativity isn't just something that you wait to the moments when you feel like it and when the inspiration strikes, all right? Creativity is a muscle, and it's something that you should be using all the time and getting better and better
100%
at.
agree
You should
with him.
consistently be doing this and pushing, okay? So there's some of those qualities that you should be applying just to the music creation process alone. Because the artists who are progressing the fastest are the ones who are creating frequently, not doubting their decisions, having the bravery and the courage to push themselves forward. They're determined and they're going to carry this through. Those are the artists that can create the momentum for themselves
He
to
just
actually try to get
described Spar
something
Legacy
started.
right
And this
there.
is where a lot of artists struggle, okay? It's not because you lack the will, it's that you're lacking execution, okay? There's overthinking, self-doubt, putting things off for the perfect moment or waiting for perfection to arrive. There's all these other qualities that we spoke about earlier and not applying those qualities that you may actually possess but not using them in the way that you know you could. Because when it's only yourself, right, you tend not to push yourself in the way that you might when you could see these sort of things in other people. And as a result, things don't get done, right? You don't move forwards in the way that you want to. So it's not a lack of intention, a lack of will. It's just a lack of consistent action applied in the way that you need it. Now, of the artists we work with, the ones who move forward the fastest tend to be the ones that we struggle to keep up with ourselves sometimes. They're the ones that are always creating new
Which
music.
is also
They're always
green there,
sending
Scotty.
demos, seeking feedback. They're networking. They're taking action. They're planning ahead. They're thinking about what comes next. They're completely involved in the agenda that we have. They're not sitting around waiting for things. They're entrepreneurs. They're masters of their own destiny. These are the sorts of qualities that they will tend to have. Now, let's be honest, it's very easy for me to say these things, but it's actually quite difficult to achieve this consistently. Because, especially when you're starting out, you are living your own life. You have other life commitments, maybe families or people to care for. Often you'll have a full-time job that you're doing as well, whilst trying to become a full-time musician. There can be all sorts of other commitments and things. In addition to this, there's also your own character and personal challenges that you might need to overcome. There's a lot of mindset and psychology for you to be able to apply your strengths to
Music
what it is
Don't forget to
that you
change
do
your
and
underwear
to overcome
and
any
socks.
weaknesses that you feel might be holding
Music
back your progress.
psychology,
Right, so
and
it's very easy
we're
to
going to get a
say,
degree one
but
day.
quite difficult to do.
Okay, maybe bring a
But
couple
what you
pairs of
want to
underwear
be
and socks.
is aware of yourself enough that you can help yourself to overcome some of these things and to use your strengths in a more positive and constructive way. Then there's another layer to this, which I just want to pick up on again, which is the business side of things. Okay, if you want to make a living out of music, then you are effectively wanting to start your own business. And there is a mindset shift here from doing something that is a hobby or something that you love doing as a leisure activity and you're passionate about it, to doing it as a job. Right? There are things that you need to do to make happen that you are not doing in your normal life while you're doing it for fun. Right? There are different things, different behaviors and different tasks and a completely different mindset and approach to how you want to be doing this going forwards if you really want to give yourself the best chance possible. And that's fine if you don't want to do that. Right? There's loads of musicians who just want to do this for fun.
And Glenn, me and you, we've had the for fun discussion on multiple nights
Oh yeah.
when it comes to like how much does it take to be satisfied as a musician? If you're really just doing it for fun, as long as you're having fun, you should be satisfied.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And one thing I was going to mention is that different personality types will have different issues with some of these things. Like some people who are more introverted would have more difficulty kind of putting themselves out there, or they might find
Correct.
difficulty with that. And that's where collaborating with other people can be very helpful. Where maybe you're better at the songwriting side, but somebody else is way better at the marketing and networking side. So like if the two of you collaborate on things, you end up fitting well to cover all the bases.
Yeah, and you kick ass at bases.
And so you got to find somebody who's
He's loaded on that
bass.
This music, and it's not an issue. But if you're determined that you want to try to see how far you can take this, how far do you think you can achieve the potential that you might have to turning this into a living for yourself and a career, well, then that takes a different shift in the way that you're approaching this. Now, I really get the sense that most independent artists out there are kind of searching for some sort of secret strategy or a trick or some way of getting their music noticed by somebody else that then will make this happen for them. Like the audience will fill in the blanks of what's not existing, or the industry is going to have the vision for the artist somehow and see the potential, and someone else will make the potential become realized. Okay, but that just doesn't happen. Very rarely happens, all right? The most common experience for most artists who find success is that they've built this. It takes time. They've built momentum, okay, and they've worked towards achieving something. Success doesn't come and find you normally. Usually you have to take one step after the other on the journey towards it. So there isn't really a shortcut or a trick.
Or jump on the
an easy
Russian
way of
roulette
doing this.
table.
If there was, I promise you, I would tell you, all right? But in reality, what there is a process, a method,
casino,
a pathway that you can follow, and some way that you can develop.
It kind of
over
feels like
time.
Russian
If there is
roulette
any
in
kind of
music.
real secret to an artist's success, it's this. The determining factor is you. That's what's going to make it happen for you. It's your ability to push through even when you're in doubt. It's your willingness to learn. It's your determination, your drive, and it's your ability to make this happen. So if there's any such thing as hustle, and I know artists tend to have this idea that you can hustle for record labels and hustle to get support and hustle the music industry. Okay, really, it's not about trying to hustle all of these other people. The real hustle is your ability to hustle yourself to get something to happen, to make action and plans fall into place. So nobody knows how far you can take this, all right? Not me, not you. Nobody else understands what potential you have, only yourself. And the way for you to realize what potential you might have is for you to embark on your own adventure and your own journey and see how far you can take this. It won't be perfect, but it needs to be consistent over a period of time to help you improve and create momentum. I hope that's been useful. And if it did resonate with you, do let us know in the comments, because I'd love to know what you think. And if you feel like you're ready to work with us and you're interested in our coaching, then be sure to get in touch. We'll see you next time.
Hey, that's some good advice. That was like, to me, motivational coaching.
Yes. Absolutely.
Motivation is the key. I mean, you got to be able to stay motivated to get yourself to do the things. And again, do it for the right reasons. Do the, if you're doing it with other people, make sure you're all on the same page, because if somebody's doing it because they are expecting to be playing arenas in a year and somebody else like has a family life and they're definitely not leaving the house for that, you got to be on the same page with that.
Yes. And see, motivation isn't just for Mondays and Wally.
Yeah, exactly. It's all over the place. But don't miss motivational Monday.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, and welcome, Susan Ann. She went back to school to hit that dream from 30 years ago and become a doctor. Bless
Congratulations.
you. That's inspiring.
That's definitely inspiring. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, this has been awesome. Music artist education. Make sure to go ahead and check out these sites that we've shared tonight. Let them know Ange sent you from Talkin Shhh I.T and that we were talking shh on their videos. And you heard them first, and you subscribe to them, and you're sharing that love.
Oh, and make the
Knowledge
face.
is power, and love is power, and that is all you need to know to change the world.
Yes. When
What
you
else we got
say
going
Ange
on?
sent you,
Is
make that
love.
face. Make that shh face.
I think it's that one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been
Oh, this was
practicing.
fun.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, as always. And again, always welcome. Come back anytime.
I will, and sometimes.
Exactly.
It's been fun talking. Am I using 2 fingers?
No, that's smoking at that point.
Oh, 3? La, 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 la.
Exactly.
All right, I'll let you guys take over from here on out to say goodnight.
Well, we'll be back next Thursday and next Monday, Wally, Motivational Monday.
Yep.
Get the week started right.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, my brain grew 3 times bigger again. I'm going to catch up to Glenn eventually.
Those headphones aren't going to fit next time.
Night, everyone.
Night.
We cover digital, audio workstations and music tools. We explore theory, gear at 82. How to arrange, compose, and the art of arranging. Taking a look at AI and how the times have changed. On a PC or a Mac and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much RAM. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking We're talking IT. We're talking IT. Every Thursday night on Angified.
Rawr.